Hey everyone, my name's Shane and I'm a big baseball fan. Welcome back to 3 Up, 3 Down. For today's video, we're going to break down a few more MLB offseason moves. In particular, we're going to look at the Oakland Athletics trade of Matt Olson to the Atlanta Braves, as well as the Freddie Freeman signing with the Los Angeles Dodgers. There's some other pieces that came from this type of move that we're going to look at as well. Those include the Eddie Rosario re-signing in Atlanta, and Kenley Jansen are signing on with the Atlanta Braves as well. I think all these moves are very connected, so we're going to break this down into a much more detailed video. Let's get into it. Quite possibly the most surprising move in Major League Baseball offseason this year was the Atlanta Braves' decision to not re-sign longtime first baseman and new World Series champion Freddie Freeman. In a corresponding move, the Braves made a deal to bring in Matt Olson from the Oakland Athletics in exchange for prospects Christian Pache, Shea Langeliers, Ryan Cusick, and Joey Estes from Oakland. That brought on a lot of opinion from a lot of different people. We're going to break down this deal a little bit more, as well as some of the corresponding moves. The first big thing to take into situation here is the Atlanta Braves and Los Angeles Dodgers' decisions to sign contracts with big-time first basemen. Matt Olson comes over from Oakland and quickly signed a long-term 8-year extension to stay with the Braves at $168 million. When you break it down, that's approximately $20 to $22 million that Matt Olson will earn each season from the Braves. Important fact this as well is keep in mind that Matt Olson is from the Atlanta area and grew up in the area and very much wanted to stay in Atlanta for a long time. Freeman was expected to stay in Atlanta for a long time, but with the deal for Matt Olson, Freeman had to find a new home, and he ends up in LA. He ends up in LA on a 6-year, $162 million contract with the Dodgers. That's going to further increase the offense for the Dodgers, and Freddie Freeman, being the former MVP, will do a lot to keep the Dodgers in title contention for the next few years. When you break it down and start to compare the players, though, Matt Olson may be just the type of player that the Braves really need to stay in title contention as well. When we start to compare the players, there's a lot to like for the Atlanta Braves and the Dodgers on both sides of this deal. What I really like about Atlanta is they're getting a younger first baseman at roughly $5 to $7 million per year cheaper, and with the expectation that Matt Olson can produce just as much as Freddie Freeman. When we start to look at the numbers a little bit more, Freddie Freeman is going to be entering his age 32 season, with Matt Olson entering his age 28 season. That doesn't sound like a lot, but in baseball years, a 4-year difference in age is going to make a big difference in the type of player that you're going to have as they move through these longer term deals. Freddie Freeman has put together 11 seasons already in his career with a 138 OPS plus. That is a big time number of an all-star first baseman. I love the 296 batting average that goes with the 384 on-base percentage for his career and a 509 slugging. You can expect a lot of those similar numbers for Freeman for the going future. Matt Olson is a little bit different style of first baseman in some way, but he's put up a career 134 OPS over his first 6 seasons. Batting average isn't as high as 252, but I don't look at that number very much. The 348 on base percentage being about 40 points lower than Freeman maybe is a little concerning, but the 511 slugging percentage, which compares quite favorably to Freddie Freeman's 509, is a really big number, an important number to keep in mind. When you dive a little bit deeper into some of the more advanced numbers, Freddie Freeman's 4.1 home run rate percentage goes along with that 19.7 strikeout percentage and 11.7 percentage in the walk. Very good numbers. But again, Matt Olson compares so favorably. A 6% home run percentage, that's a huge number. 23.4% on the strikeouts, so you expect more strikeouts from Olson. But 11.5 percentage on the walks, that's a really key number as well. So it shows that Olson does have that bigger term ability in terms of on-base percentage. If you want to take a look at more recent numbers in the 2021 season, OPS plus for Freddie Freeman of 133. But check it out with Matt Olson, a 153 OPS in his age 27 season. That really shows how key and how important this deal is to bring in Matt Olson for the Atlanta Braves. A lower salary, potential of more upside, as Olson is just really beginning that prime of his career. While Freddie Freeman is very much in the prime of his career, He may be starting to slow down a little bit. We saw not quite the same production in his MVP year of 2020. Not to say that Freeman isn't an incredible player, but you have to start to guess a little bit and figure out statistically where the regression is coming for Freeman. The Braves are kind of banking on it sooner rather than later, with the Dodgers expecting a few more really solid years in Dodger blue. Now, the Dodgers can make that type of prediction and hope for a little bit longer run in the prime of his career for Freeman because they have the money and the bank account to really be able to withstand a regression for Freeman if it comes. And the universal DH will help them along with that as well. Freeman's fits so well in that lineup as a left-handed hitter for the Dodgers with all those former MVPs. It could be really, really monstrous year for Freeman the next few years with the Dodgers. Matt Olson fits in really well as well. Keeps that left-handed power bat at first base for the Braves. Potential for some huge seasons in the prime of his career for Olson in Atlanta. He's surrounded by such incredible talent in Ozzie Albies and Ronald Acuna Jr. to really protect him in the lineup as well. So I like the deals for both players, but I think the edge has to be given to the Braves given the age of the players and the slight decrease in the contract situation there with roughly $5 million less that Atlanta is going to be paying Olson compared to Freeman for the long term. The potential for Olson is just huge in Atlanta, so I really expect big things for him there. And to settle into his hometown area could be a really, really key player for the Braves to really maintain their championship status. The Dodgers moved Freddie Freeman really like as well. But there's a couple other pieces to this that I really, really like in Atlanta's situation. The money situation may have just allowed the Braves to re-sign outfielder Eddie Rosario, as well as bring in Dodger reliever Kenley Jansen on a 1-year, $16 million deal. And you start taking a look at the numbers of those two and what they can bring to Atlanta as well. It really shows that Atlanta was being very proactive and taking advantage of the situation to bring in Matt Olson from Oakland. So when you take a look at the numbers here for Rosario and Kenley Jansen, you really see a couple players that can really help the Braves maintain that championship status. The Braves brought back hero Eddie Rosario on a 2-year, $18 million contract. And Eddie Rosario is the type of player who really gets overlooked, I think, in the outfield. You take a look at his career numbers, his OPS plus is over 100 throughout the vast majority of his career. The only time it really dips below was during the 2021 season, but that all took place in Cleveland, where injuries were an issue, and he produced only an 86 OPS plus. That's really down. When you look at the underlying numbers, 296 on-base percentage and a 389 slugging really showed his struggles there. But he was facing some injuries, and once he got healthy in the trade to Atlanta, he wasn't even healthy to begin when he first arrived at Atlanta, spent some time in the DL, and then was reactivated. He really flourished with the Braves, a 131 OPS plus. Now, I don't expect Rosario to keep up those types of numbers for all the way through a full season, but if you look back to his years in Minnesota, he's had OPS plus of 116, 107, 116, 119 in his career. Those are big, big numbers. Those are very important numbers for a quality outfielder. And he can fit so well in the left field for the Braves. With Ronald Acuna Jr. returning from injury and the emergence of Austin Riley, we have the potential for a really impactful offense with Rosario spending his full season in Atlanta. Not only is Rosario a quality hitter, but he's an average to above average outfielder. He put together 2 defensive runs saved last year for the Braves. So still a quality outfielder in left field with a decent enough arm. I expect more big things from Rosario. He's just that steady presence in the left field, and he can probably pick up a few more at-bats at the DH spot along the way. So this is a very important move for the Braves. So not only are you offsetting the loss of Freddie Freeman with obviously the acquisition of Matt Olson, but you're freed up a little bit of money there. And if that was enough to keep Eddie Rosario for a couple more years in Atlanta, I think that's going to be a real benefit to the Braves. They're getting 2 more years for sure of Rosario in his age 31 and 32 seasons. So once again, more prime years of an impactful player. Love the move for Atlanta. The third piece of this puzzle of all these acquisitions is the 1-year, $16 million deal that the Braves gave closer Kenley Jansen to move from LA to Atlanta. I think some of this money was freed up with the acquisition of Matt Olson. and the cost certainty going forward. So not only I think this is a big move to bring in Kenley Jansen for the Braves, but I think down the road you can expect them to have a little bit more flexibility in terms of signing some of these bigger relievers along the way to 1 or 2 year deals to really help their team. I don't know if that could have happened with if they had kept Freddie Freeman on a long-term deal. When you take a look at Jansen's numbers over his career, they're absolutely incredible, with an ERA plus being league average at 100. The lowest Jansen has in his career is 112, which is back in 2019. 2021, he put together a 185 ERA plus, so well above average. He had some incredible performances with the Dodgers last year. When you really break into the numbers and take a look at his monthly statistics, you can really see just how effective Jansen was, with the only outlier being the month of July. Outside of that, every other month, Jansen held his opponents to a 356 OPS or lower against him for the entire month. That is absolutely incredible. You see the bad month there in July with the 1106 OPS against him, but that was only in 9 appearances. He got roughed up there for the month, but he turned it back around in August and September and October. He was really quality through the playoffs as well for the Dodgers. It's really interesting that this deal is made after the Freeman signing from Atlanta to the Dodgers. I don't know if this is all connected or not, but the way it looks and breaks down, it kind of looks like it does. And I think Atlanta really won this situation, not only with the ability to acquire Matt Olson, but the ability to re-sign Eddie Rosario and to bring in Kenley Jansen to fortify that bullpen, along with Will Smith, Tyler Matzik, and some of the other pieces that carried them through the playoffs. I really like the deal here for the Braves as well. On the flip side, you have to give something up to acquire something. You start to break down the pieces that Atlanta sent back to Oakland in the Matt Olson deal. It does take away a little bit, but I don't think Atlanta gave up as much as you think. So we're going to take a chance here to break down those pieces as well. The biggest name going back to Oakland in the deal is Shea Langeliers, catcher in his year age 24 season. He hasn't gone above AAA yet. He got some experience there last year with AAA Gwinnett in the Brave system, posting a 721 OPS for them after having a part of the year and putting up an 836 OPS in AA. With so few at-bats there in AAA yet for Langeliers, I would expect he's going to need at least one full season in AAA before he advances to the Major League level. The deal makes some sense for Oakland to build up their prospect system again as they kind of tear things down. I don't know if I love the Langeliers deal here. He's a very good offensive catcher, and from everything you read, he's an incredible defensive catcher with a huge arm. Sean Murphy is the current catcher in Oakland, a younger guy as well, so maybe they can find a way to fit Langeliers into that system and kind of rotation here in a couple of years to give him the experience and let him take advantage of the situation in Oakland. Tremendous upside here for Langeliers. I like the deal for Oakland for Langeliers, but I just don't understand the fit all that much. But hopefully he can really develop and be that next great power hitter in Oakland, and maybe he gets some extra at bats there as a DH as we open up the universal DH this season. The part of the deal that I don't love for Oakland is the Christian Pache inclusion. Pache is absolutely tremendous outfield defender. Don't get me wrong. He's a future Gold Glover and potential platinum Gold Glover out there in center field. But what I really don't get is the fact that Pache has never been a strong hitter. You take a look at his minor league numbers. The best season he's posted is an 802 OPS, and that was when he was split across AAA and AA in the Atlanta system. Last year he posted a 744 OPS in AAA. He's always struggled the little bit he's seen in the major league level. I hope Oakland can turn him around in terms of a hitting view, but I just don't see it across his career. The on-base percentage hasn't been terrible. Last year posting a 330 on-base percentage. There is a little bit of pop there as well. 11 home runs last year in AAA. But I just don't see that consistency from him yet. Given that he's turning 23 years old here for the next season, I expect him to maybe potentially spend a little bit of time in AAA before jumping in with the Athletics this coming year. There is a hole out there in Oakland after Starling Marte left to free agency. So it'll be interesting to see how quickly the Athletics are to promote Pache into the Major League system. I hope they can turn around his hitting, and let's see if they can really bring out the best in this prospect. Ryan Cusick is another piece that comes over in the trade to Oakland. Right-handed pitcher. Saw his first taste of minor league action last season with Augusta and the A-ball for the Braves. 6 starts, a 3.86 ERA. It's only 16 innings from them last year, but 34 strikeouts. Shows that real strikeout potential. He's a long way from the majors. In his college career, in his final year with Wake Forest, had 108 strikeouts in 70 innings, so very impressive that way. He's a big strikeout guy. Could develop into something down the road for Oakland, but he's going to be at least 2 to 3 years away from cracking Oakland's rotation. Very nice potential prospect here. We'll see what the A's can make of him. They have a habit of developing some pretty good pitchers, so hopefully they can find a little something in Ryan Cusick as well. Final piece for the Athletics is right-hander Joey Estes. He put up a 2.91 ERA in A-ball last year for the Brave system. Very nice 99 innings, 127 strikeouts in his first full year in the minors. A 16th round pick, but maybe the Oakland Athletics know a little something here about Estes. He's got some years to go, but only 20 years old. He has some time to develop. Taking a bit of a gamble, taking a bit of a shot in the dark here with Estes. Maybe A's can really bring out his potential and develop into a quality starter or maybe reliever down the line with the Athletics. Overall, I'm just really fascinated by the moves made between the Dodgers and Braves this offseason. I really think the Braves have come up the big winner in all this, and bringing in Matt Olson in the prime of his career, Eddie Rosario, Kenley Jansen, I think will really help. It's not to say the Dodgers haven't been very successful as well. I think Freeman is going to be a big bat in that lineup for the next 4 to 5 years. Hopefully regression doesn't kick in too soon for them. It's going to be really interesting if the Braves and Dodgers meet up in the playoffs for the third straight year. Just really crazy offseason. Oakland, I don't know if they're the big winners in this deal. We'll see what the prospects become. It's going to take us 3 or 4 years at least before we can evaluate this side of the equation for them. Overall, loving it what's happening in Atlanta. Like what's going to see the Dodgers. It's a shame that Freddie couldn't finish his career with the Braves, but that's business. And GM Alex Anthopoulos is definitely all about business when it comes to the Braves and the way their team is managed. Overall, just a lot of fun to see these types of moves. Thanks for breaking these deals down with me. I hope this helps you understand some of the moves that are going on this offseason, and I learned along the way with you. Thank you so much for making it all the way to the end of the video. I greatly appreciate the support of the channel. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, like and share this video, and I'll see you next time to break down some more MLB moves. Until then, take care everyone.